Hey guys, welcome back to Musics of Mavri, where I'm your host Mavri, and today we're going to be looking at Kotobuki episode 4. So, if you're a viewer of my channel, you might notice that my setup looks a bit different, the background is a little bit different. It looks shittier than usual. Well, as it turns out, I'm actually on vacation right now. It's currently Lunar New Year's, so I'm visiting my parents. And I figured I'd still try to make this episode using my laptop. I did the best I could. If it's not up to par, I apologize, but I wanted to get this video out anyways. So, anyways, last time on Kotobuki, we defended the town of Rahama from Elite Industries, although they did succeed in their goal of hijacking, I guess, or getting their hands on the Raiden airplane, which came at a cost. They sacrificed a lot of their pirates and planes, but they did get it in the end. Now, what is the big plan they have with this plane? We don't know yet, but it better be a good one, otherwise it's really a foolish waste of resources. Also, our girls did say that they wanted to go and find a way to get this plane back, so let's just see what they're going to do in this episode. So, I skipped the opening, and let's just begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Elite Fortress. Okay. Never sing again. Yeah, what she said. Wait, so they're going to do a raid on the... They're going to do a raid on the fortress, and... how exactly are they going to get the plane back? Without seatbelts? Alright. She's flying with Kouya because her plane got down, right? Alright. Is that it? The fortress? She has to go to the toilet. Alright. Rota. Okay. Hmm? Oh, was that like a signal or something? Is this like the equivalent of a gas station? Hmm? Another? This really is the equivalent of like a gas station or road stop. Still, that seems a little bit weird, because right now the entire aesthetic and the technology they're using is more World War II era. Those vending machines, on the other hand... Well, actually, never mind. There seem to be antique vending machines. How are you going to take the Raiden? Okay. That still doesn't really make sense. How exactly are they going to get in and get the plane out when they're also in planes? Somehow. True. Oh. Don't tell me the Kotobukis are going to pose as performers. That seems to be the case. Yep. Oh. This is the little princess. Is it? Wait, is it actually dead? Can this be considered as a fan service episode? Really? So? You got a lot of experience in a lot of things. Alright, these aren't the rest of the girls. Alright. I'm getting like a Star Wars vibes from this. Move in to rescue her? Like, seriously, you guys are pilots, and now you're, like, doing some James Bond shit here. I like how nobody is actually dying. Why is the writing so important? I don't get it. Mm-hmm. Oh. Suises. Alright. Shall we call it a mutiny? Or a hostile takeover? Mm. Dang. Is that gonna be like his dad or something? I mean, her dad or something? Oh, that was a nice... You know, from a visual perspective, this is much more interesting, this kind of chase. At the same time, I think the realism levels just got dropped down quite a few notches. Ooh. Seriously. These are like superhero chicks. Yeah, it should be 2 techs higher. I mean, I guess you can't really say that, but it should be much more technologically advanced. Well, I guess that's it. I'll see you guys after the ending. Well, so, with this episode, I guess we can safely say that this is not a serious anime, right? This episode screamed of unrealistic expectations and unrealistic conditions, right? I mean, think about it. It's 6 airplanes trying to assault a base consisting of dozens of airplanes and personnel, all in the name of trying to get back an airplane. Like, think about it. An air raid on a base that has the objective of getting back an airplane. Like, that makes no sense at all, right? So just from this exact premise, it's already quite absurd. And then later on, they actually infiltrated the base on foot, in person, and then got in and got the plane out. So like I was saying, some James Bond stuff going on over here. And really, they even mentioned that, okay, if Zara gets into trouble, everybody just lands their planes and then we go in and get them out. Again, this is a quasi-military base with dozens of personnel, and they are armed with guns. And these are 6 girls who believe that they can just go in and waltz out with whatever they came here for. Totally unrealistic, just from these points alone. And then we also have the actual air raid was, I guess, kind of okay and realistic in a sense. I like that they tried to intercept or destroy as many planes as possible that were still on the ground, still on the airfield. So that part, I guess, was okay. But then the valley part, where they tried to do some chases in the valleys, I guess technically it's possible, but realistically, I don't think anybody would, in normal military doctrine, try to do those kinds of maneuvers in those kind of valley bases. It's just way too risky, right? And really, that screamed more of, kind of sci-fi or Hollywood movie, chasing, right? It's just not, I don't think it's something that's normally done, especially not with World War II era airplanes. So, yeah, like I said, I think the only realism that this series is actually going for is in terms of the sound effects and maybe what kind of planes there are and the plane visuals. But the actual setting, really, it reminds me a lot of actually cartoons, right? Because with cartoons, we're expected to have these kinds of main protagonists, these heroes that can do pretty much whatever they want with no repercussions, because they're just, the normal physics, normal rules don't really apply to them, right? They're just so much better than everybody else that they can do whatever they want. So in a sense, this really reminds me more of a cartoon rather than any serious anime. Besides this point, what else do I want to talk about? The animation, actually. I feel like 4 episodes in, and I'm not really sure why they chose to do 3D animation for the girls, because clearly, in this episode, when Zara infiltrated the base and then she turned into this dancer outfit, right? She was drawn in a 2D animation style, and that also persisted throughout the entire time she was on the base, when she was doing some martial arts to take out the guards, and when she was piloting the plane as well. So, clearly this animation studio has the resources and the means to do 2D animation throughout. So why are they choosing to do a mix of 3D and 2D? Like, what does that accomplish, really? I'm not really sure. Is it because they want to tie it in somehow with the mobile game? They originally wanted to reuse the assets, but really, if you're just gonna redraw Zara when she's changing an outfit instead of just using the original 3D model, what's the point, right? So, a little bit weird here. I'm not really sure what the thought process is on that part. Besides that, in terms of the main plot or the story, again, not really much. This episode seemed a little bit more independent, I guess. We didn't even really get the backstory of Zara, even though she did mention a little bit on how she and Riona were the first, and then how she worked on an airfield before, but that was just in passing, right? The actual episode really had nothing to do with her past at all. And we also didn't really get any new planes or anything, so basically not much to say there. And actually, I think this might be a standard going forward. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a series that has any big focal or big main plot to it. Maybe in the last 5 or 4 episodes, we're going to get a longer arc where they'll have a finale, but it doesn't seem to be a story that's going to go throughout this entire season. Besides that, so I guess what do I think about this series as a whole right now? Normally I give a anime series 4 episodes before I decide whether I want to drop it or not. And this series is a little bit more strange to me because even though, let's be honest here, this is not a very good anime series. This is not something that I would recommend to everyone, right? You need to have some. It's just not a very good anime series. Let's just leave it at that. But at the same time, I don't think there's anything particularly negative about it that turns me off from watching it. And the animation, I mean, to me, it's passable. It's passable. And the story, while I would like to have a better story that is interconnected within all the different episodes. At the same time, if it is, these kinds of independent episodes, it can be interesting as well, right? At least this episode, in particular, I thought was actually even more interesting than the previous ones, because even though it was a little bit more unrealistic, it also changed the formula up a little bit, right? It was a little bit more unrealistic, but it was also a little bit more interesting as well. So, right now, I actually think I'm leaning towards continuing this series, because, like I said, I'm 4 episodes in, and there's not really anything specific that makes me want to drop it, right? So, I think, actually, I'm just going to continue on, and well, let's just see how it goes. But definitely it's not going to be a high priority one, and again, probably for most people, this is not something that you would want to watch. Which actually brings me back to a question I had from the first episode. Like, who exactly is this series for? Right? It's not quite slice of life. I guess you could kind of say it's cute girls doing cute things, but not really that either. And even though there's some military realism in it, but it's not a realistic military setting. So it's really a jack of all trades and master of none. And I guess in the end, it's just pure, if you want some mindless fun in sort of like watching a cartoon, right? If you want to appeal to your inner child, I guess that's what this series is about, really. So, yeah, that sums up my thought about this episode and this series as a whole. And, yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in episode 5. Again, I apologize for the recording quality and whatnot. Next episode, I'll be back, so I'll be back at my home, so everything will be normal again. But, until next time, I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.